Hey, sixth grade, I'm going to kind of walk you through what I'd like you to do today. First thing, if you can go to page 167 in your books, we're just going to do a tad bit of review of what we talked a little about yesterday. Remember, our goal yesterday was to find out the factors that affect temperature. And if you can remember, there are 4 of them that we listed down here. Temperature is affected by, first one was latitude, the second one was altitude, distance from a large body of water, and ocean currents. So all of those 4, are the 4 factors that affect temperature. So just to kind of briefly go over them, yesterday we talked about latitude. You know how close you are to the equator depends on that. Obviously, if you are around the equator in the tropical zone, about right from here to here, it is pretty warm. You have a pretty hot climate. Or if we come up to these areas, such as where Nebraska is, or down in these regions down here, that's our temperate zones, which are, not as hot but not as cold either. And you get to the more extreme on the cold side of our polar zones, clear up north of the equator, clear down south of the equator. So our first one we talked about was latitude. The second one we talked about was altitude. If you can remember this picture, I asked you where the coldest place was, put an X on it. The majority of you said up here. So the higher you go in altitude, the colder it is. We also talked about distance from large bodies of water. So if we're looking at this map right here, Juneau is pretty close to the water, where Fairbanks is further away from the water. By looking at this map, we can see that it is closer to the water, which means it have more or less extreme temperatures. And it looks like it just signed me out, so it looks like I'm going to have to sign back in just 1 second here. Alright, just 1 second. I'm going to come right back, just a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. It cut out on me. But anyways, so our closer cities to the oceans are going to have a less extreme temperatures and less extreme weather or climate there, where our cities like in Fairbanks, which are a little bit further away, will have more extreme weather because the ocean isn't there to keep it more constant. So distance from large bodies of water is a factor that affects temperature. And our last factor was ocean currents. And on this page, you can see all the different ocean currents that we talked about. The blue is a cold current. The red is a warmer current, kind of keeping those areas colder or warmer, depends on where you are. So those are the factors that affect temperature. And today, what we want to talk about was what factors affect precipitation. So looking here, I already highlighted it for you. The main factors, let's underline this in our books on 172. The main factors that affect precipitation are prevailing winds, presence of mountains, and seasonal winds. The main ones I want you to know are the mountain ranges and the seasonal winds. But I think the majority is what I want you to know is mountain winds. So if we look here, we have a mountain range. Now we see we have warm, moist air, which has a lot of water vapor to it. So that warm, moist air, what's it going to do? It encounters a mountain. So once it encounters that mountain, it rises up. As it rises up, we can see the arrow here gets blue, which probably means it gets colder. And we can see as it gets colder, that moist air decides to turn into water vapor, or that turns back into water, and decides to rain on this side of the mountain. We call that side the windward side of the mountain. So rain or snow falls on the windward side of the mountain. So once it encounters that and comes down here, the air is a lot colder, and it's also not as moist. So that's why this side of the mountain does not get as much rain. And we call that side the leeward side. Okay, so that's one factor that affects what precipitation happens in mountain ranges. One side might get more rain than the other because once it goes up that mountain, it's lost all that moisture to it. I think for today, that's all I kind of want you to know about those. Monsoons are here and cool, but I think we're going to skip that for right now. Next thing we're going to do is if we can go to page 176 in our books. We're going to talk about the 6 main climate regions and do a presentation or a project over that today. So the 6 main climate regions are tropical rainy, which probably means hot and wet, dry, obviously what it means, temperate marine, temperate continental, polar, and highlands. So there are 6 climate regions, and I want you to choose 3 of them. Any 3 that you want, and you're going to do a presentation over those 3. So let's say I'm going to choose tropical, rainy, dry, and temperate marine. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to log into a Haiku deck. I know we worked on this before, so Haiku deck right here. And I need to log in, so I'm going to go a new deck. And I'm going to make one. So what this is going to be on is a climate regions. This is going to be my title slide. Now I have 3 different climates I've chosen, so I'm going to have 3 different slides. So one of them might be, oops, sorry. Say I do dry. Now these climate regions are based off of their temperature and the precipitation. So if I'm thinking about a dry climate, it's probably very hot climate, and it also very little precipitation. Now if I wanted to, if you look in your books, it tells you exactly what kind of precipitation and what kind of temperature it is. So for each one of these, I'd like you to have 3 facts for each one. So a total of about 9 things for each one. So remember too, I want you to add pictures. So if I clicked on here, I know probably a dry climate is a desert. So I can look up a desert and add a picture to the background. So do the same thing. Like I said, pick 3 out of those 6. Have 3 slides, one for dry, one for temperate marine, one for highlands, whatever you want to do, and then give 3 facts for each one. If you have any questions on it, email me. I'll be on my computer probably all day doing stuff, so I'll be able to get those emails, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, we got through our 2 of our goals today. What is temperature? What factors affect temperature? What factors affect precipitation? And then we're moving on to different types of climate regions and being able to describe them. So we'll have the rest of the time to work on this today. If you get done, try to add more facts to your presentation, as you can always make it better. So if you like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thanks. Have a good day.